Hello guys, welcome back. I was asked to do a video. Remember about 2 years ago, Odin asked me why I never did a video on Godspousing? Remember that video? And I noticed something about, the term isn't my favorite term, it isn't, but nobody ever talks about when it doesn't work out. What are you supposed to do? Because there is no God divorce. You don't just say, yeah, we're really not getting along, and you both walk away. Once you've made that compact agreement, union with them, they consider you their private property. I know what that sounds like, but you are theirs. You might not get along, and they may be gone for extended periods of time, but you are theirs. And so what does it look like when it doesn't work? Well, they propose, and you're like, this isn't going to work. No, no, no. I know this won't work. And they propose, and they propose, and they propose. And you eventually go, okay. Because somehow they charm you into it. And you get married. And it doesn't work out. Because you're either both headstrong, or super competitive, or you're both something. And it just doesn't work out. Loki and I can be super competitive, even to the point where we're competitive to win at all costs, but at the end of the day, even if one of us is hurt and sulking because we lost, the other one will come over and be like, hey, come on, and, we'll get along. So we know that we'll do that, and we know we will get competitive, but we also know that the winner has to be a gracious winner and not go, nah, 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 nah. And if the winner does that, the winner should expect to have to apologize later and go, I'm sorry. And, so forth and so on. And Loki is flexible. Loki's adaptable. Odin is not adaptable. Odin is not flexible. For the god of everything, the god of all things, he can get very persnickety and stubborn and mule-headed, and he will plant his heels in, and then he just shuts down and he won't speak to you. And I know that's also a tactic Loki uses, but eventually you can figure Loki out. Odin will never answer me. It's like, what did I do? What am I supposed to get out of that? Fine. Be shut down and be moody, because I don't know what you're thinking of. I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm sorry, okay? You know what? Fine. I'm gonna go have a sandwich. You be mad. So, we sometimes get along as well as fire and water, and all you get when you put those two together is superheated steam, and everybody gets burned. And I don't know why Odin puts himself into situations where he has to know, he has to have the foresight to know he's not going to get along with that person. He and I can get along extremely well for like 5 minutes. And then he pushes. And he knows it's the worst possible thing to do with me. Odin's not stupid. He knows if he pushes, I will lock up and I will dig my heels in. I'll be like, what? And he will push and I'll be like, no. And he knows that if I roll over and I give in, I will be like Loki. I'll build up little petty resentments and I'll think about them, and at the worst possible time for everybody involved, I'll lash out. So I'm like, you and I cannot get along. And he's had me doing this hippie thing. So of course last night the most terrifying aspect of Odin has to show up. And I said, you and I, we can't get along. I will feel very deeply for you, and then you show up and you're extremely difficult on purpose. And my emotions shut down, because that's just how I am. I will emotionally shut down when somebody is extremely difficult on purpose, probably so I don't kill them. And he's just... He made everything as difficult as possible, and then he left this morning. That is what Godspousing looks like when it does not work. And there's nothing you can do about it. And Loki's like, that's because you're special kind of stupid. I could have got you out of that, but no. Yeah, it was one of those cases where I love the All-Father and I respect him very deeply, but he is highly competitive with Loki, and I think he saw Loki had something and he wanted it too, because they have to be equals. Actually, they both have to be better than the other brother. Oh my gods, don't... You can't say anything bad about their brother, but God forbid you praise your brother over them. It's like living with two psychopaths. This is what it's like. And, yeah, he's gone for a while, and I'll vaguely feel his energy come in to kind of watch me, but then it's like, I'm profoundly disappointed in you. Leave. And I'm like, okay. This is why we never got along. This is why I told you it was a bad idea, because he proposed, and I was like, we're both headstrong, we're both competitive, we will both shut down and not talk. I said, we need one person in the marriage. You need one person in a marriage that will open up and talk. I said, if it has to be me 100% of the time, I will get pissed off and resentful with you. I said, we do not work well together, All-Father. We don't. I'm headstrong. I'm never going to be a god slave. If you bring chains around me, you guys know me. I respect him as a god. I do, but I will try to find a way to bind him in those chains. I said, you will have a fight on your hands. I'm not into being submissive. The only one that gets really close to that is Loki, and that's because Loki charms you into it. He's like, who's a submissive little human? You go, I am. What do you want me to do? Loki gets through on charm. Odin is not charming. Odin is blunt force trauma to the head is what Odin is. And I read all these stories, and maybe that's why we never got along and it never worked, of him coming in and being romantic and sweeping women off their feet. He came in very pushy, very argumentative, very, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get, you can't turn me down. And he can act loving and affectionate, and you can almost start to believe it, but then it's like, I got the cranky, antisocial, shut down and not speak to you part of Odin. It's like, yeah, everybody wants to be married to that. And it's not like I'm trying to air dirty laundry, but he said, why haven't you admitted this? Are you ashamed of me? Do you know how long we've been married? Me. And we've even tried stuff, guys, like renewing stuff and exchanging gifts and treating each other nice and spending time with each other. But I've even told him, I said, bro, if you want to forget about it, I'll forget about it. We're good. I don't care. It was a mistake. We both know it was a mistake. We both know we don't get along. And I don't think he can help his ambition. But then he got bored of trying to compete with Loki. So of course he left. So the moment Odin left, all the other gods stuck their heads in. And the Norse gods are like, meh. So that's the kind of reality you have with those two around. It's kind of why everything's like, I don't have stable ground, because one day we're an all-Norse family, then the next day everybody's back in, then Odin comes back in, he's like, no, shoo. And I just find it easier to give him his way than to argue with him, because you think it's bad to argue with Loki. Arguing with Odin is like arguing with a brick wall. He's not going to move. And we have stupid fights. I will tell him stuff like, did you see that documentary? Those women fell in love with the Eiffel Tower. That woman's in love and married to the Eiffel Tower. And I bet she has more emotional support from her than I do from you. And Odin's just looking at me. If Odin tells you he loves you, in my experience at least, I must bring out the worst in him. It's at full level volume shouting at you, because I love you, that's why! I'm profoundly deaf now, but thank you, dear. So, I love him, I do, and he loves me, I know that, but we're not in the kind of love where you can have an everyday relationship. I think we both can admit that at this point. I can kind of, sort of, do the runes. I can recognize names now, and I can recognize some of the letters, but I can't tell you what the names are of the runes. And it's like, I'm very logical. Fox people aren't supposed to be logical at all. We're supposed to follow our heart and go dancing in the rain or something, but I'm very logical, and I don't see why I should learn another system of writing if I already have one. It's not that I don't respect it or understand the lore. It's just I'm very logical and practical. I'm like, we're writing all these English words in runes, and we're leaving it in English, so what did I learn this for? It's like when we were in Girl Scouts and they had that pretend Indian signs that we all learned. Remember those? Yeah, it's like that. And I'm not downplaying it if you're a room master or something. I truly respect that. But I'm like, I love it and it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like it's not practical. And you really have to convince me to do something if I don't think it's practical. Then again, my whimsical side comes out, but that's only if I'm with Loki. And Loki's kind of now seeing an opportunity and he's like, he's gone. He's gone. Maybe I'll put my paw in here and make mischief. Yep. I'm like, mischief away. So yeah, and I talk about that because I don't think anybody does, guys. I don't think anybody talks about what happens when, you know, being a god spouse or being married to a god does not work out. You can spend time apart, especially with Loki. Oh my god, with Loki, you have to spend time apart or you will find a way to kill a god. You will. I don't know if I told you in one of the recordings, because I record a lot that you never see. But I have told Loki I am going to hang your brother from the real tree, and this time he's gonna stay there. He's like, oh, you two getting along that well, huh? And I couldn't believe why Loki was being so good. Loki's been the patron saint of goodness. He's never once interfered. He's never once tried for attention if Odin wanted attention. I think he wanted his brother to learn the lesson. Odin sometimes thinks force of will is all that's needed. And you can't force love. You can't force affection. You can't force a relationship. I know we have stories about gods abducting people and they learn to love them and everything else, but we're like, well, is that because they truly learn to love them, or is there some kind of whatever? And Odin, I think, is mystified because he usually works so well with people. When he reaches the people he doesn't work with, I think we're a challenge. And I think that excites him until he gets bored with it and he finds out it just won't work. Then he walks away and he pretends he was never there because Odin has never felt anything. And I'm like, this is why we can't truly ever get along. Loki screws up on a daily basis and goes, sorry. No, I'm not. You suck. And Loki go, thanks. What? So, yeah, it was inevitable that there would be failure, and he tried again recently, and that's why he was getting all these videos, but he'll get bored and he'll walk away. It's just, we kind of know when he comes in, he has to get his way, because if we fight, it'll just drain my energy, because he will win. I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's like, I tried to explain to him, I tried to be logical. I said, if I love all Norse gods, and if this house naturally becomes all Norse gods, it's fine. But if these Norse gods wanted to be with me already, they would be here. They would. They would already be here. They would be spending time with me. They would be talking to me. They would be getting my attention. But I said, they're not the ones running up. The Greek gods have been sending me little discreet pins under the radar. Remember me? I'm Dionysus. Discreet. Remember me? I'm whatever. So I don't know. My life will always be like that. I'll think I have a ton of gods, and I'll worship them all, and I'll talk about Dionysus and Bastet and everybody else, and then Odin will come swatting back in, and it's, oh, I've never had any other gods. I've only had Norse gods. If I have gray hair, he's the reason why. Oh, and the clock's in the back. So yeah, I got, I ordered that 2 days ago, and I didn't have Prime, and they shipped it super fast, so I haven't tried it out yet. It's currently 3 degrees, so I'm letting it warm up for a couple hours and then I'll plug it in. I don't think it matters with something like a clock. I don't think there's anything in there to be affected by the cold. Well, there's backup battery, but I'm just going to let it warm up for a couple hours and then I'll take it upstairs and fiddle with it. But it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty in person, but I've got to admit it doesn't look like very much. I think on camera. I've seen videos of it and it just looks meh, whatever. But I'll let you guys know how it works out. It'll be nice. I'm going to try the evening sunset feature tonight, see if that works. I just have to figure out a way to, you know, get it set up and everything upstairs. So we'll see. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And again, I didn't share that to, air dirty laundry or speak ill of the gods. But Odin's been pressing and pressing and pressing, and when you press me, you'll eventually get what you want, but you won't always get it in the way you want. And I don't know why, but I think Odin thinks if he keeps pretending and insisting we have the best marriage ever, and I'm like, no, that absolutely fell, caught on fire, burnt to the ground. It's just ashes now. Walk away, man. Walk away. It's over. You know it's over. We get along like Elizabeth Taylor and anyone else. So, around, sissy. But yeah, that's how it is. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.